Oi, Nyonya Tua! Boycott KK Mart! Ham sandwich! These are some of the wonderful nuggets of gold given to us by Datuk Dr. Akmal Saleh, Medical Dr. Adun of Merlimau, and UMNO Youth Chief ever since 2023. By many counts, Akmal has been the most hated man in Malaysia. The only similarity between him and Mahathir is that they both have doctor in their name, and he's definitely not as polished as Kari Jamaluddin. Doesn't hold back, doesn't care, speaks his mind all of the time without thinking of the consequences. Boycott, boycott, boycott until the entire country's economy is crippled. But now, I'm gonna give it to you straight. I don't think that Akmal Saleh is an idiot. Nope. I think he's a genius. Before you rage quit, here are 3 reasons why I like Akmal Saleh. Make sure to watch this video all the way to the end. Number 1. I genuinely believe the man when he says that he's fighting for agama, bangsa, dan negara. It's true, if you're not Malay, then you might think that going after things like ham and halal certificates might be dumb or otherwise unproductive. But the fact is that even if you personally don't care about these things, the fact is that we live in a multicultural society and people do care about these things. Yes, Akmal's politically incorrect, disruptive, you could say that he's amplifying the issues unnecessarily, and I think a lot of people would agree. But the fact is, even if I don't agree with his approach or his rhetoric, I don't dispute that he is fighting for things that are actually valid to the Malays and for his religion. It's way better than PAS, which claims that it is the hero of the Malays, even as it insults the constitution and insults the Malay kings. Not sure how much of an advocate for the Malay cause they are either when they're literally lying to people by saying that fitnah and murder are lesser sins than secularism. I mean, hey, like, even if I'm against stuff like mandatory halal certification, and I prefer personally not to have anything to do with Akmal's religion, I respect the fact that he's fighting for his community. That's what a good politician should be doing. You can call him opportunistic, aggressive, disrespectful, or whatever, but the fact is, he is doing his job. And that's more than what I can say for PAS and what it's doing with this little fitnah campaign and literally trying to gaslight the entirety of Malaysia and the Malays as well. Next point. I like Akmal because he is a straight shooter. He says what he thinks and he thinks what he says. This is completely unlike PAS, which, as I told you, is going around claiming it's the defender of the constitution even as it undermines it, goes around spreading fitnah with fake accounts left, right, front and center, even as it gets sued over and over again, and spreads lies in order to conquer the Malay Muslim consciousness. Akmal doesn't do any of that. No. If he is going to fight you, he will fight you directly. None of that going around sini sana, snake tactics. So yeah, even if I don't agree with the guy, the fact that he's direct and he says what he means that at least you can understand what he's saying, where he's coming from, rather than what you have with all these unpredictable people who are going around you and then talking to other people who are not you, betraying people left, right, front and center along the way. Which is a major reason why they will never make good coalition partners, and you can never trust a single thing that they're saying. And this brings me to my last point. I like Akmal because he actually fights against injustice. I think most Malaysians by this point know about a little company called GISB. If you don't, basically it's a company that's linked to the Al-Arkam cult. They're running a massive operation around the world, businesses selling bread with no halal certificates,
amongst numerous other sketchy things,
but also charity homes out of the kindness of their hearts, or maybe just pure evil. In September of 2024, the Perdis Mufti realized that there was something very wrong. News reports started coming out about concerns about violence and abuse. As the police raided them, they rescued more than 402 children from the GISB homes who had been physically and sexually assaulted, sodomized, burned with metal spoons, and even worse, taught how to sodomize other people.
And no, this wasn't a Muslim thing. This was a problem that affected the entire country, all its institutions, and affected every single Malaysian on the planet.
Let me remind you, by the way, that these are all underage children. The CEO denied this, played victim, and said eventually, oh, there were only 1 or 2 cases of sodomy in our homes. Lo and behold, PAS be all like, they are good Muslim businesses.
Which it seems not all Muslims agree with.
But our man Akmal Saleh, on September 12th, is one of the very first politicians to come out and say, this is not okay, this is not the work of Islam, it is the work of the devil itself. Now you might be thinking to yourself, walao, fight what injustice, he's just a politician trying to get himself elected. And hey, maybe you're right. But I think that when people react in a situation where they're actually encountering evil,
actually use their platform to highlight evil rather than defending it,
that's a good sign that actually they care about fighting injustice. By contrast, Pas says, "Oh no, how dare you destroy the Islamic economy?" Well, shut up, Pas. Nobody cares. TDRM did the right thing, and so did Akmal as well. If you're skeptical, which you should be by the way, you might say, well, he's just saying the things that the people want to hear. I mean, sure, the whole no fear, no surrender thing might just be a way to get people to vote for him. I'm sure he also gains some personal benefit from saying the incendiary, harmful things that he says, but when it comes down to it, I believe that he's genuinely an advocate for the Malay cause. I think it's awesome that he speaks his mind,
which is actually reliable and really tells us about how the Malay community feels.
And in many ways, like your standard issue anti-hero, he steps in to fight for justice when it actually counts. Kinda like Batman, if I'm being honest. Sure, he goes out yapping Nyonya Tua, and he might be the next person to pay a cool 25 million to the politicians of the DAP. No fear, no surrender, and so on and so forth. But the more and more I thought about what he was doing, the more I realized that Dato Dr. Muhammad Akmal Saleh, I might not agree with you, and in fact, a lot of people from Malaysia might not agree with you, but I will say that although it is grudging, you have my respect at this point in time, because I do feel that the Malay community needs a hero that actually cares about their legitimate interests along the way. We might not agree on what these legitimate interests are.
Some people might not even agree that you are actually a hero.
But hopefully there's going to be more dialogue rather than name-calling in the days ahead, and we can find ways in which we can work together better as a multicultural society rather than one that just panders to any one particular race or religion while dealing with every community's legit concerns along the way. Alright, that's about it. If you're down for it, I'd actually be so down to interview you. Because I think that you're a fascinating figure. It's a serious offer. And if you're a commenter and you're like, how could he make a video like this? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And with that, watch this video next.